The International Whitewater Hall of Fame recognizes and honors explorers, pioneers, champions, and advocates from around the world who have made significant contributions to the enjoyment, protection, awareness, and celebration of whitewater rivers. Beginning with the class of 2005, the International Whitewater Hall of Fame has celebrated individuals from Australia, Belgium, Canada, Costa Rica, the Czech Republic, France, Germany, Japan, Luxembourg, New Zealand, Slovakia, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Nominations are submitted through affiliate organizations. A panel of knowledgeable whitewater paddlers narrows the field to determine who to include on the ballot. The voting electorate, which makes the final selections, represents paddle sport competitors, instructors, manufacturers, retailers, outfitters, and past inductees from around the globe. The International Whitewater Hall of Fame accepts nominees year-round. To nominate a deserving individual, visit iwhof.org. The International Whitewater Hall of Fame is the central program of the World River Center, formed in 2019, and works with the American Canoe Association in select outreach efforts. It is our honor to present exceptional individuals whose personal commitment, skill, and love for paddling have contributed significantly to the healthy state of our sport and an exciting future for all who enjoy rivers. Presenting the International Whitewater Hall of Fame Class of 2023. Pioneer, Bryce Whitmore. In the book Halfway to Halfway and Back, author Dick Leonard offers, if Bryce Whitmore were a boastful man, he could claim to be the father of river running in California, along with a few other crazies kayaking California rivers in the 1950s, but they're all dead. And there is no question that Bryce pioneered whitewater rafting. He was offering rafting trips before people knew they wanted them, with rafts that he designed and made himself because no one else was making them. Born in 1926, Bryce was a force in western U.S. kayaking and rafting, and an influence in the community and industry beyond. He pioneered paddling practices and built the first fiberglass kayak in the western United States in 1956. He completed the first descents of many rivers in California from 1956 to 1965 and claimed a place as national slalom champion from 1960 to 1962. He claims to be the first commercial rafting outfitter on the west coast of the United States, starting in 1960 and running through 1986, including offering week-long trips on the Rogue River from 1973 to 1986. He also created the first self-bailing rafts called Huck Fins in 1968. Explorer Mike Jones. Mike Jones was one of the world's top expedition kayakers of his generation. His expeditions introduced many people to the exciting world of whitewater paddling and inspired many to take up the sport. Mike first discovered kayaking in his hometown of Yorkshire at the age of 14 and quickly proceeded to paddle many of his local rivers. In 1969, a 17-year-old Jones participated in his first expedition to Germany and Austria, where the challenge included a 5-day first attempt descent of the Inn Gorge in the Alps. 1972 was a banner year for Mike Jones, as he led the first canoe descent of the Blue Nile. He was also appointed team manager of the British University's slalom and whitewater team. Within hours of completing his preclinical exams, he set off for Austria without even knowing the results, competing with considerable success in 3 international events in Europe that summer. His crowning achievement was a daring descent of the Duke Cozy River, whose source is close to Mount Everest, and which falls at approximately 280 feet per mile. He organized a team, overcame financial challenges to his project that some deemed risky and crazy, drove overland to Nepal, and trekked to the river, launching at a record 17,500 feet above sea level. Dude Cozy, Relentless River of Everest, a film produced by Leo Dickinson, recorded the expedition with wildly exciting and memorable footage. Tragically, Mike died 2 years later trying to rescue a friend on the Braldu River at the age of 25. He was awarded the Queen's Gallantry Medal for his actions. Champion Manfred Vogt. For slalom athletes who are aware of the skills of early competitors, Manfred is considered one of the best slalom and whitewater kayakers the sport has ever known. He was dominant as a canoe slalom racer in the 1950s and 1960s when everyone paddled folding boats. He took home an individual gold medal in the 1959 World Slalom Championships, just 10 years after its debut as an internationally recognized discipline, and claimed gold in the K1 teams at World Championships 10 years apart in 1955 and 1965. In addition, Manfred developed slalom techniques that helped advance the abilities of all racers at the time. He was the first racer who started undercutting the gates, and used special sweep and dufect-like strokes for the kayak to be faster in the gates and to reduce the distance between gates. In the old times, paddlers always made wide turns around the gates. Manfred's new technique made it possible for them to finish with much faster times. Slalom kayakers from all over the world have learned Manfred's slalom techniques, and without them, the sport certainly would not be what it is today. Champion, Jamie McEwen. As a member of the U.S. Whitewater Slalom team and national C1 champion in 1972 and 1975, Jamie's Olympic bronze medal in Augsburg at the 1972 Olympic Games spurred a U.S. craze which has never been repeated. Through Jamie, young paddlers saw their own potential in his commitment and grit. John Lugbill, C1 champion and International Whitewater Hall of Fame class of 2005, shared with Paddling Life shortly after Jamie's passing at 61 from cancer. Jamie's bronze medal performance at the 1972 Olympics provided legitimacy to whitewater slalom in the United States. Paddling was suddenly an acceptable endeavor for people of all backgrounds, and not just crazy people. A whole cadre of young paddlers, including myself, benefited from this because our parents were then willing to drive us to all those rivers, lakes, and ponds. Jamie did so much for others and with such ease. He was always smiling, being positive, and seeing the potential for great things from those he met. Jamie brought home overall C2 wins from the 1987 World Championships, 1988 and 1989 World Cups, and his comeback in 1992 at the Barcelona Olympics at Le Seu d'Urgell with C2 partner Lucky Haller was remarkable, finishing just out of the medals in 4th place. He continued to race on his own for many years as an inspiration to his local paddling hub and with his son, Devin. Advocate, Osamu Tatsuna. In 1969, at the age of 21, Osamu Tatsuna began his journey as an explorer. He became the second person of Japanese descent to climb the north face of the Eiger in the Swiss Alps, and also climb the north face of the Matterhorn. In 1970, he opened the first rock climbing school in Japan, and in 1975, at 28 years old, he founded Montbell Company Limited, to manufacture mountaineering clothing and equipment. At the same time, he developed a love for canoeing and kayaking. He won the 3rd annual Kansai Wildwater Kayaking Competition, and has kayaked numerous rivers that include the Trishuli, Marsyangdi, and the Seti in Nepal, the Kurubi Canyon from the Japan Alps to the Sea of Japan, and the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon. Tatsuna's enthusiasm for kayaking and canoeing led him to be the first to bring polyethylene kayaks to Japan, with the import of Perception kayaks in 1985, become one of the largest retailers of whitewater kayaks in the world. 50 of Montbell's approximately 130 outdoor retail stores offer kayaks for whitewater, touring, and recreation, as well as canoes, inflatable and folding kayaks and canoes. Montbell's exposure to the sport of kayaking to the public can be counted in the millions, with some stores located in the busiest train stations in Japan. Montbell stores now include freestanding locations, and the new flagship store is the largest mono-brand outdoor retail store in Japan, where customers can test paddle kayaks in the store. Advocate, Pete Skinner. On dozens of rivers in the U.S., you can set your watch by the arrival of water tumbling through a dry riverbed. Plan a trip with paddling friends on the second weekend in June, when you know the river will be running. And plan the revenue for your rafting company, because you know the river will run a set number of days during the year. Rivers were once enjoyed after a good rainfall and as snow melted from the mountaintops. Now, many of the nation's highest quality whitewater flows on schedule predictably thanks to a few tenacious paddlers led by Pete Skinner. Pete was primarily responsible for bringing American whitewater back from near collapse and converting it from being the publisher of an obscure whitewater booklet to the most influential organization representing safe recreational use of rivers in the United States and a model of recreational stewardship for the world. By learning how rivers are regulated, Pete's capacity for analysis as a scientist and engineer, and his optimistic enthusiasm for what is right, fueled an inspired cohort whose work continues today, creating year-round paddling opportunities for millions now and for generations to come. Paddlers enjoy both creeks and spectacular canyons across the United States year-round, according to calendars and predictably posted schedules, thanks to Pete and the doors he opened. The individuals honored here have chosen to excel at living, working, training, and playing on and in support of a commitment to life through whitewater. We should all be so lucky as to know their passion and see through their lens. The World River Center and its International Whitewater Hall of Fame is proud to acknowledge the work, passion, and vision of these honorees and congratulate them on their legacies. Help us celebrate these individuals, as well as their fellow International Whitewater Hall of Fame inductees, by congratulating those you may meet and nominating others you feel deserve a similar place of honor.